I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Drinking alcohol for fun or pleasure is a form of socially reinforced delusion. Every time we do it, we go out and do it, and we see our mates doing it, see other people doing it in our lives. It's reinforced and reinforced, and you know the programming starts very early in life, and it just keeps being reinforced as we go through life. When we're talking about a lot of the problems that we've got in life now, we're talking about first world problems. When you look at the reality of life, we've created a life for ourselves which is in a bubble. It's in it's outside of reality. If something really bad was going to happen in the world, maybe with recent events something imminent is about to happen, I don't know, but it's a scary time to be living. But that reality might hit home and hit hard very soon, and I was watching a program before the mad election in America, and it was about the rise of terrorism and how terrorism was so bad now and people could be struck everywhere. And this video just debunked the whole thing. It went over issues like, it took us back 20, 30 years and said, actually there's less terrorism now than there ever has been in life. That, back in the 70s, where I grew up in Ireland, where the threat of terrorism was every day. There was the IRA, the INLA, all the terrorist movements from both sides of the mental divide, right? Then there was ETA. There was so many different terrorist groups all over Europe, and there was the same thing in America. I think in perception wise, I think 9/11 probably was just a massive thing, and it's one of those things where if perception, people think that because such a huge thing has happened on their own doorstep, and it was such a catastrophic event in one event, that it pushes people's minds in the opposite direction, thinking that it's everywhere, and it's not actually everywhere. I think numbers wise, I don't know. I mean, it has been worse though, and things are getting better. We've never had it better. Even during what was called our depression, was nothing like what it was like in the depression during the 1930s. Nowhere near as bad. We still had a lot of stuff going on. So, what I'm saying is that we're talking about first world problems every time we speak about life in general. Our problems nowadays, even our alcohol problems to a certain degree, they're led on by boredom, by socialising and not wanting to be left out, by not being able to sleep. These are not real, proper issues. They might be issues to us, but they're first world problems. It's difficult to define this without sounding like a complete asshole. It's my problems now. When I'm thinking about problems now, my problems are my computer is broken down, my phone is not working, or this phone is really slow. I can't get out walking today because I've got to work. All these different issues that I've got in my life now, when I sit down and think about them, they're nothing. They're really petty issues. I sound like a child in my own mind when I listen to it, and I sort of take stock. And it's a part of this problem comes because we look outwards from ourselves and we want what other people have got. We sort of say, well, I've been working for this company for 10 years now, and that asshole has only been working here for 5 years, and he's got a promotion ahead of me, or he's on more money than I am, and I want to be where he is, or this guy's got a better phone than me, he comes out, I've got the new phone, and this drives people to go out and want more and want more and want more. And the problem with that kind of thinking is that everybody, there's always somebody that has got something different from you, something better than you. So you're always going to be on pushing yourself forwards all the time to try and get the next thing, I want the next thing, you know. Now, the best way to look at your life is appreciating what you've got now, and, you know, if you have to look at other people at all, to look at other people and say, well, do you know, there but for the grace of God, or there but for the grace of whatever, you know, go I, you know, this is because I was born in the West, I'm living in a privileged position, and when you look around the world and there's people with so much more, so much less than we've got, but we don't think like that, you know, on the most part. You know, I remember years ago, my dad used to say stuff to me like, if he'd say, well, why do you do that? And, you know, if I'd done something fucking bad, or he caught me doing something, I'd say, well, I did it because he did it, you know, or because they did it, you know, that's why I did it. And my dad would say, well, if they told you to put your hand in the fire, would you? And I'd say, no, but, you know, it's social pressure, and I think we tend to live our lives like, you know, those lemmings that sort of gather together and they run in a herd, and if one jumps off a cliff, the rest of them just follow. I don't know if that's a true story, and I have to look that up. But you know what I'm saying, it's one sheep following the next sheep, and, you know, it's the herd mentality. You know, it's a mental trap. It's the same with alcohol. It's just a trap. It's socially reinforced all the time. It's bullshit. It's like, well, I do it because everyone else does it. I do it because I've learned to do it, and this is what my mates all did, you know, so this is what I started doing. I do it because if I don't do it, they won't like it, you know, and I'll feel socially isolated, you know. I do it because of peer pressure, you know, and it's all, this builds up and builds up and builds up, and it's just reinforced and reinforced. And that's the difficulty in quitting drinking alcohol. It was also the difficulty with when people were trying to quit smoking. The problem is that with smoking, it's just becoming socially intolerant. You know, people are not tolerating smokers anymore. You know, they're not willing to stand there and say, well, you know, I've given up smoking and I don't want to breathe in your fucking smoke anymore, you know. And to me, I think that's eventually going to happen with alcohol. I think people are going to say, well, I don't drink anymore, and I'm not willing to listen to your verbal diarrhea anymore, you know, because I don't want to listen to your bullshit. I don't want to listen to you when you're in a drugged out state, you know. I think it will become intolerant. I don't know when. I think it's going to take a lot longer, because it's so much more entrenched in our society than cigarettes. If you think about cigarettes, they've only been a part of our culture for a couple of 100 years or something like that, even less, you know. Probably only 100, 150 years when you look at it in reality. But alcohol is a lot more ingrained, a lot more there for a long time. So I think it's going to take longer for it to come out. I can see some of the signs of it, you know, like, you know, alcohol advertising is no longer allowed. You know, people are sort of copping onto themselves. One of the things that I notice a lot, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of different health podcasts and health shows, and I hear a lot of people talking about health, and they're talking about how they're getting their body fit, and they're watching, you know, they're taking this vitamin and that vitamin, and they're doing raw food and putting this type of protein into their shakes and that type of plankton into their shakes and all this kind of stuff, right? And then, you know, the next you'll hear about them putting alcohol into the system, and you're thinking, well, why are you doing that? You know, this is totally going against exactly what you've said. You know, you're talking about healthy, and you're talking about trying to put, you know, the ideal nutrients in your body for your body, so that your body can thrive and survive and live a quality of life. And then you're putting a toxin into your body. In the name of what, you know? And you're still deluding yourself into thinking that this is good for you, you know, that sitting down and drinking wine is good for you because it's wine, and, you know, wine has got a different cloud of socially reinforced bullshit to it, you know. So the thing is, do your own thing. You know, don't do what other people are doing just because they're doing it, you know. It's difficult. I know it's difficult. You know, anything that's tough in life is difficult to do. Anything that's proper in life, you know, that's going to give you good results is difficult to do. But there are people out there, there are lots of people out there who are coming along this same wavelength. They're thinking about this and they're thinking, well, you know, alcohol is just ruining my life. You know, this alcohol is another level of intoxication, and take the toxic out of that, you know. So they're taking the toxic out of their own lives, and they're saying, well, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. And whatever anyone else thinks, bugger it, you know. I want success in life, you know. I want success, whatever that success means to you. You know, it could mean personal success, family success, career success, whatever it means to you, you know. You want to get intoxicated with success instead of intoxicated by a toxin, you know. That's the message for today anyway. So I'm going to continue this walk. This is a hill, so that's why I'm not walking too much up here. I just get it's early in the morning. I've got a bit of a head cold as well, a little bit. It's just I can feel it coming on. It's not going to come on much because I just don't get colds anymore, you know. But that's a different story. Look, if you have any questions at all, any comments, leave them down below. Subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Come on over to the website and sign up for the newsletter. And until next time, you know, stay safe. Keep the alcohol out your mind. Keep the alcohol out your mouth, but keep the intoxicating social verbiage bullshit out of your brain. Is that a word, verbiage? I think it is. Anyway, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Onwards and upwards. Take care. Good luck.